The Rock's new movie, Black Adam, is based on the comic book character of the same name. Created in 1945 by writer Otto Binder and artist C.C. Beck, the character has been a villain and an anti-hero for decades. But how accurate is the film to the character? Today, I'll explain the similarities and differences between the movie and the comic book origins in 4 chapters. We'll look at the plot, the supporting characters, places and things, and finally, Black Adam himself. Warning, there will be spoilers, so I recommend watching the movie first if you're concerned about that. As far as my review, I'd call it decent. It has some good action and jokes, not the deepest or most original, but it's fine. Plot. The plot of the movie involves Black Adam, a supernaturally powered human being who has been imprisoned for 5,000 years. He is awoken in his homeland, the fictional Middle Eastern country of Kahndaq in the present day, by a freedom fighter named Adriana Tomaz. Black Adam reluctantly begins protecting his homeland against invaders powered with advanced technology. The Justice Society of America is sent in to rein in the out-of-control Black Adam, but they ultimately realize that they have similar goals and team up to defend Kahndaq against the demonically powered Ishmael, who gains the power of Sabbac. Upon defeating Sabbac, the JSA and Black Adam agree to a truce wherein the JSA will not intrude on Kahndaq politics, but Black Adam will not leave Kahndaq's borders. The story is very loosely based off of a DC comic book story that ran from 2003 through 2004 called Black Rain. It was a crossover between the titles JSA and Hawkman, both written by Jeff Johns. Black Adam had joined the team on a probationary basis back in JSA issue 21 from 2002. Black Rain involves Black Adam deciding to liberate his homeland, Kahndaq, from a military dictator named Asim Mohanad. He gathers some superpowered beings to his side, including his fellow JSA member, Atom Smasher. Hawkman takes leadership of the JSA to stop Black Adam, but Black Adam is successful in deposing the dictator. The JSA reaches a truce with Black Adam in which he will not leave Kahndaq's borders, and they will allow him to protect his country. The biggest difference is that the comics had a lot more superheroes from the JSA involved, including Dr. Fate, Dr. Midnight, Wildcat, Hawkgirl, and the Golden Age versions of both The Flash and Green Lantern, whereas the movie introduces Adriana Tomaz, an archaeologist, and her son and her brother. The movie's JSA is comprised of simply Hawkman, Dr. Fate, and new recruits Atom Smasher and Cyclone. Also, the comics are about the conflict between Black Adam and the JSA, but the demonic Sabbac plays no role in that story. Supporting characters. The most important supporting character in the Black Adam movie is archaeologist Adriana Tomaz, who wants her country to be free from Intergang's control. Her goal is to find the crown of Sabbac, a magical artifact said to grant great power to its wearer, which has been missing for thousands of years. She then wants to hide the crown from Intergang. Adriana and her brother, son, and some allies, including Ishmael, are all working to fight for Kahndaq's freedom. Adriana translates some hieroglyphs in a tomb, which frees Black Adam from his 5,000-year imprisonment. She acts as Black Adam's conscience throughout the movie, motivating him to become the country's fabled protector. In the comics, Tomaz was a supporting character in the 52 series, which started in 2006. Intergang presents Black Adam with a peace offering of money and an enslaved Egyptian woman, Adriana Tomaz. Black Adam frees her, and she motivates Adam to be more merciful over time. Eventually, Adam confers Shazam's powers to Adriana, and she becomes the superhero Isis. This is a modern take on the TV character Isis. In 1975, The Secrets of Isis was a companion superhero show to Shazam, both 30 minutes of live-action TV for the Shazam Isis Power Hour. That character was Andrea Thomas in her civilian identity, a high school science teacher. It was a short-lived TV show, but she did appear as a guest star on 3 episodes of Shazam with Captain Marvel. Amon is Adriana's teenage son in the movies. He reminds Black Adam of his own son and helps his mother and his uncle. In the comics, Amon was Adriana's brother, and he also got Black Adam's powers, becoming known as Osiris. In the movie, Adriana has a brother named Kareem, but he does not have a comic book counterpart. Adriana's supposed ally, Ishmael Gregor, eventually reveals himself to be the secret leader of Intergang and the last descendant of Kahndaq's king Akton, who killed Black Adam's family millennia ago. Akton was a character in the Black Rain comic story who had the powers of superhero Metamorpho and was responsible for killing Black Adam's family. Ishmael eventually obtains the crown of Sabak, which gives him demonic powers from hell. Sabak is a villain from the comics who has these powers. The original version was just a guy in Captain Marvel Jr. #4. The modern version was also named Ishmael, and he was transformed into a muscular red monster with giant horns and a pentagram on his chest. The movie and the comics are nearly identical visually. There was a third version of Sabak in the comics that was basically the same, but he was 50 feet tall. The movie version can do the same thing and grow to whatever height he needs to be. The Justice Society of America is a super team in the movie who are contacted by Amanda Waller to apprehend Black Adam. Normally, Waller would use Task Force X, the Suicide Squad, but she needed more seasoned professionals apparently. The team is led by Hawkman, who calls in his old teammate Dr. Fate and new recruits Atom Smasher and Cyclone. In the comics, the Justice Society of America was the first superhero team comic published by national periodicals, which eventually became DC Comics. The Justice Society first appeared in 1940 in issue 3 of All-Star Comics. It's the first comic book crossover comic in DC Comics history. The original team was comprised of the Spectre, Hourman, the Sandman, the Atom, Flash, Green Lantern, and Hawkman and Dr. Fate. In the 90s and the 2000s, DC created new lineups of the Justice Society that mixed seasoned veterans with newcomer heroes. Hawkman in the movie is also known as Carter Hall. He has wings, a hawk's mask, and a mace. The comic book counterpart has a very complex series of origins and retcons that the movie does not acknowledge or dive into. Hawkman originally appeared in issue 1 of Flash Comics from 1940 and was archaeologist Carter Hall, who learns that he is the reincarnation of Prince Khufu of Egypt. In the modern comics, Black Adam served Khufu for a time, and that was why he was away from his homeland when his family was killed. In the comics, Carter discovers nth metal, which defies gravity, and he fashions wings from it, becoming the superhero Hawkman. In the 1960s, a new Silver Age version of Hawkman was created who had the similar sounding name of Kator Hall. This version is from an alien race known as Thanagarians. In current continuity, Hawkman is an alien, but he doesn't know it, and he reincarnates every time he dies. Dr. Fate is the heavy hitter for the Justice Society in the movie. Kent Nelson has a helmet that Hawkman at one point says is alien in origin. It gives Kent visions of possible futures and also grants him magical abilities. In the comics, Dr. Fate debuted in More Fun Comics issue 55 from 1940. A year later, his origins were explained. There were originally incorporeal but sentient beings, the first in the universe. These were the Lords of Order, and Nabu was one of them. Nabu came to Earth and essentially possesses a human host throughout time, granting them the powers of Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate was one of the founders of the Justice Society of America. Atom Smasher is a new recruit to the Justice Society with the ability to grow and become stronger. In the movie, it's explained that Al is the nephew of the original Atom Smasher, but it is not explained if the powers are inherent to Al or if they were gifted from his uncle. In the comics, Atom Smasher is the godson of the original Justice Society superhero, the Atom. Atom Smasher originally called himself Nuklon and debuted in the All-Star Squadron, issue 25 from 1983. He later joined the Justice Society of America. The final team member is Cyclone, who is a metahuman with the ability to manipulate wind. Her name is given as Maxine Hunkel, and she's said to be the granddaughter of Abigail Hunkel. Cyclone debuted in the comics in issue 1 of Justice Society of America from 2007. Cover artist Alex Ross based her off of a character he had drawn in Kingdom Come, which was set in a possible future, where there was a descendant of superhero Red Tornado. Retroactively, this is meant to be the same character. Her grandmother, known as Ma Hunkel, debuted in All American Comics from 1939 as a stout older woman. In issue 20, she began running around in a homemade costume and called herself Red Tornado. It was a humorous satire of the new trend of superheroes at the time, but she outlasted most of them. Cyclone got her powers when evil scientist T.O. Morrow injected her with nanobites. Morrow had previously created the second Red Tornado, an android that eventually joined the Justice League of America. Places and things. The bad guys in the movie are Intergang. They are an invading force and have advanced technology powered by a substance called Eternium, which is native to Kahndaq. Ishmael, similar to his ancestor Aktun, are enslaving people to mine Eternium and search for the crown of Sabak. Black Adam is at one point weakened by a blast from an Eternium-powered weapon, but cures himself by blasting the wound with electricity. In the comics, Eternium is a metal made from the fragments of the magical Rock of Eternity, the lair of the wizard Shazam, who granted both Black Adam and Captain Marvel their powers. In the comics, it weakens people with Captain Marvel's powers, similar to kryptonite for Superman, although non-lethal. In the comics, Intergang is a criminal organization powered by advanced technology that's actually given to them by Darkseid. The movie doesn't mention Darkseid, but this could be a connection for down the road. Kahndaq is the fictional country where Black Adam takes place and is vaguely in the Middle East. It appears to have a business district with skyscrapers as well as cliffs and deserts. It has a massive statue erected to Kahndaq's legendary protector. In the comics, it was created relatively recently in 2006 when DC was actively expanding on Black Adam's background. It is said to be in northern Africa near Egypt. It is portrayed as poorer than in the movie, with no real skyscrapers but some buildings. Nth metal is mentioned in the movie as being the substance Hawkman's jet is made out of. The Justice Society flies around in his jet, which he says is indestructible. That said, Sabak does later smash it up. Adriana wears a necklace that she says she inherited from her grandmother. It is 3 triangles, which look similar to Kahndaq's flag as it is shown in the comics. Kareem's van has the name of his business, Sharuda Electronics. Sharuda is the capital of Kahndaq, and it is also in the comics the name of Black Adam's late wife. Black Adam. Visually, Black Adam looks very similar in the movies and the comics, except in the comics, he has short black hair and pointed ears. While he was created back in 1945, he also died in that same issue. Captain Marvel and his family trick Black Adam into saying the magical word Shazam, which takes his powers away. Because he is 5,000 years old, he quickly turns to dust. In the movie, that is also the Justice Society's plan to defeat Adam, but when he says it voluntarily, it just depowers him. It does not age him. Black Adam's 1945 origin and his updated DC Comics origin from the 1990s both have him granted powers by the wizard Shazam, but he becomes corrupted with power. In the movie, it is Adam's son who is granted the powers, and he becomes a champion. He later gives them to his father to save his father's life, then is immediately killed by Aktun's assassins. This explains Black Adam's rage. Adam is then entombed by the wizard Shazam until Adriana releases him. The comics started Black Adam down a road to that of anti-hero and potentially a hero in 2002 when he joined the JSA. There were retcons explaining that a separate man named Theo Adam possessed Black Adam's powers and he was the villainous version. The Rock agreed to play Black Adam all the way back in 2007 when producers first invited him to play Captain Marvel, but he felt he was better suited for Adam. What did you think? Did The Rock choose right? I thought that the movie had some good action and a pretty accurate comics history, but focused a lot of its attention on the supporting cast instead of Black Adam himself. But now that the movie is here and seems to be doing well financially, what would you like to see in a sequel? Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please consider hitting like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, there are merchandise links beneath the YouTube video, and you can always hit join on YouTube or visit Comic Tropes on Patreon to get access to special perks.